And with me today, I have Matthew Davies, who is the founder of Winners Only Fitness, a powerhouse of resilience, health, expertise, and personal transformation. Growing up in Highton, a tough neighbourhood in Liverpool, Matthew faced adversity from a young age. As a mixed race child in a predominantly racist environment, he learned early on the importance of grit and determination. Boxing became his sanctuary, where years of dedication saw him crowned a three-time national champion and captain of the England squad. However, his true calling emerged during a personal crisis when his mother's health deteriorated. Matthew dove into the world of natural healing, fitness, and wellness, fueled by a desire to help her recover. This turning point ignited a lifelong mission to understand the body's mechanisms and empower others to achieve peak physical and mental health. Welcome to the show, Matthew. Such an honor to have
Thank
you
you for
here.
having me. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm on it as well. Really.
Oh, but I'm so excited to hear more about your journey and what you're doing today, Matthew, because just from what I know about you, it's been nothing but inspirational. And I know that you've had a lot of adversities growing up, and it would be great for you to share a bit more about that with my listeners today.
Okay, so do you want me to go right from the start when I was a child, like recap on what you've just mentioned?
Yeah.
So, growing up in Highton, I'm the eldest boy of a predominantly black family. I'm mixed race, so I've got like a lighter tone to my skin. Um, and basically just going through life, I can remember going to school and people would say things and I didn't know what it meant. And I can remember coming home and be like, I won't say the words, but I got called this today. What does that mean? And I was like, okay, we can't accept this stuff. From literally like the age of 5 years of age, my father would take me to the boxing gym. He said, no, you're too young. Six, you're too young. Seven, you're too young. And then I came back at age eight. They basically said, yeah, you're old enough to train now. Literally just spent every single day there. So I'd fight all the time anyway. In school, I'd always end up getting in scuffles and things like this, and I'd always kind of feel like not like the world was against me, but like I had to be strong to defend myself. And I think my dad really pushed that in me as well, and instilled that in me. Um, Although it was always me, my dad would be in work whenever something happened in the school, it'd be my mum who backed me up. Um, So yeah, I went through boxing, and it was like 3 years of basically getting beat up in the gym, not learning, making mistakes, and I persevered. I was only 8 years of age, and I just loved it. So what I'd do is I'd train extra, and I'd go with the adults, and from age 11 up until about 21, I eventually started. Well, I'd done very well, boxed at a high level, and was captain of Great Britain for a number of years, and was number one pound for pound in the country. Won a number of titles, as you've already mentioned. And when I was 15, I got asked to go to New York. We've got family out there, but there's a gym called Gleason's Gym. A guy called Lennox Blackmore, who was one of the top coaches in there, basically invited me over to train with him. He said, by the time you're 25, you'll be a world champion. And I thought I had forever. And I went, oh, I'll go when I'm ready. And I took too long to turn pro. Um, yeah, long story short, things were going okay. Got a little bit complacent due to like partying and things like this. But what the main issue that caused things to like crumble, like the low points and so what you describe as like the hero's journey or whatever, was when my mother got sick, and I I'll never forget being by the bedside and was like looking at my mum and dad, and like they were both crying, and I'm like, I've never seen them upset like this in my life. And in that point, we didn't know what was going to happen. But I can remember making a promise to myself, like, I'm never going to let my mother feel like this, and I'm never going to let my kids see me like this. So I got really obsessed with health and fitness and wellness, and to really heal and cure my mother. But not only that, but to get me back to the top in boxing as well. Because I lost one or two fights and was essentially forgotten like overnight. It was crazy. Um, so yeah, with regards to that, I got given a book, and this book, it was given to me by my auntie, and it was called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, and it was made by a guy. What's his name? I think it's Kevin Stradale. Kevin Stradale, but it's not Justin Stradale. It's Kevin Stradale, and basically he was a CEO of a pharmaceutical company, and he was one of the top CEO, like what they called, top executives in a pharmaceutical company. Received like life threatening news, critical news regarding his health. Realized what he was doing was wrong. Sought natural cures, got himself better, and literally turned his back on the oil industry and wrote the book How to Never Get Sick Again, in an attempt to help people and heal them and things like this. What I heard, and I'm not sure if this is true, but allegedly had like a number of attempts on his life and all kinds of craziness from as a result of creating a book and promoting it as much as he did. Anyway, I went through every single aspect of it, done my own research. That was my reference point. Went into everything to from like how you walk, how you breathe, the nutrition, the the your, the management of thought processes, the quality of food, bioavailability, and the procedures of food as well, and the different aspects of pathogens and things like this, and just use that to try and help my mother, and obviously help myself get fitter and stronger as well. As a result, thankfully, my mother got better. We've got the doctors at the hospital as well to thank for that. And yeah, and then obviously use that knowledge. A lot of people was mentioning you be a good coach. You've got a lot of knowledge about fitness, and then it just literally went from there.
Amazing. Wow, what a story. What a story. And I love that, you were questioning a lot of the kind of the normal ways to heal in the Western culture, and that's to obviously medicate. But we all know that that's not really the solution. The solution is to try and prevent illnesses in the first place, right? Rather than fix them. So from your own kind of experience, what role does physical exercise like boxing and strength training actually play in releasing or channeling repressed anger?
So with the aspect of repressed anger, what I believe it is when we train, when we're exercising, it's an expression of aggression. Now, when it comes, we spoke in the past about anger being repressed. Wait there, sorry, anxiety being repressed anger. What the habits we've and the patterns we've implemented that cause this depression and create these states of anxiety and frustration, we're able to utilize them in a way that not only um, serves us in releasing that anger and stress, but also gets us healthier as well. So what we've done is we've basically reframed the negative emotion or the negative experience and utilized it as a tool and seeing it as raw energy to push onto bigger and better things in terms of developing your health and improving your overall functioning throughout life as well.
Oh yeah, amazing. So would that, because you mentioned about anxiety, so would that apply for fear and stress as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with regards to fear, um, how I describe fear is there's something in your environment that is causing you at least the perception of danger. Now, when it comes to this, we oftentimes have to face these things head on in order to release that negative emotion. Now, if these things objectively are impossible, then it makes sense to find another way to do that. So, in terms of strength training, what you'll find is through releasing that repressed anger and through the aggression of lifting heavy weights and going for PBs, and not only um, feeling better in your health, but also looking better, that's going to stimulate and improve confidence levels, which may in turn filter back into that fearful situation that allows you to become a little bit more bold or what's the word? Observant of your own sovereignty in those situations in those situations as well.
Amazing, yeah. And so beyond boxing, then, what other practices have actually helped you to express and transform negative emotions?
Pardon, what was that? Beyond
Also,
boxing.
yeah, yeah. So any other practices that you've that have helped you?
So, you know what? I've got a lot of stories here. So, obviously, I've boxed all my life. Like that is the foundation of, I wouldn't say it's the foundation of my identity, but it's it's been a close ally throughout my life. It's brought me in rooms that have built me up. It's taught me things that I would never have known, and it's also taught me respect and discipline. Uh, so I'll always hold boxing in a massively high regard. But one thing about strength training is when there's different levels of fitness. Okay, so me going to if I live a sedentary lifestyle and I decide to go on a few walks, and okay, I've got myself in shape and I'm getting a little bit leaner or whatever, and then I progress into the weights room and I start working on my aesthetic. That's one layer. What we're doing there is we're working on the body, the shell of itself. Beyond that, there's deeper levels, and this can come from, say, nutrition in terms of affecting the hormonal processes within the body and or the overall functioning of the metabolism. And then beyond that, we've got another layer, which is your thoughts and your emotions, and also breath work. And I think things like meditation are absolutely key. I meditate every single morning, and the, there are so many different aspects of meditation. It's it how can I explain this? So the different aspects of meditation can include visualization, it
Mm.
could include shadow work, it could include simply breath work, it could include things like chakra meditations or which is more of a spiritual concept, but um, with regards to these different things, as you go to the higher levels. Like me, I've always been in quite good shape since because I've trained since I was a kid. And I can remember at a point I was training like 18 times a week, literally 3 times a day, 6 days a week. This is no joke. I was going through uni and I was training because I was boxing for England. That's what I'd do.
Okay.
And I got to the point where at the peak of my knowledge, I was the fittest I've ever been. I had the best motor skills and I was the strongest and in best like aesthetic shape I could be. And I was like, how can I get better? Like, there's a certain threshold and like people have these glass ceilings in their own self-image. And I think when we when we get to the highest level of what we perceive as possible for us, you can see that there's more, but you don't know what it is. And it can either slow you down or it can excite you. With me, it excited me, and as a result, I started looking into other what we could describe as, say, holistic forms of self care in terms of like spiritual development, working on your autonomic nervous system in terms of uh, healing your own thought patterns, your traumas that you've been through. You know, we all regardless of what's going on in our lives, whether everything was plain sailing, we all went through lockdown. And I think throughout COVID-19, a lot of people really suffered. I know I did. I know I did. I suffered internally and externally. And I'm sure many others did too. And I think the beauty within those experiences is if you do cultivate alternative practices of self-care, such as meditation, um, it could even be setting things like setting boundaries
Yeah.
alongside your routine or your training routine, for instance. Um, if we incorporate these different aspects, we basically create a better environment for ourselves to flourish and to to heal, you know. But it's that process. Um, yeah, I don't want to waffle too much, but
Oh, it's
what
good.
I'd say is the first stage of true healing comes from shadow work. I'd say, yeah, I'd say shadow work, and then I would say from there, um, you can incorporate things like exercise and stuff. But then after that, you want to look into skills like visualization, where you're gearing your reticular activation sequence to go into the direction you want to take it. Things like this.
Right. Could you just explain what shadow work is for those who may not be aware of it?
Okay, so shadow work is a it's a it's a framework that is utilized or was created by a guy called Carl Gustav Jung, who's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, sorry. And it's basically the raising awareness to the unhealed aspects of ourselves. So in this case, if someone's struggling with anger or anxiety, then the cause of that issue is the repression or the suppression of that feeling. Now, when we learn to sit with the negative emotion instead of shutting it away, as a result, it's able to unwind and it spins out of our body. Now, this might sound a bit crazy, but if you practice stillness, if you practice total stillness and and allow your body to go into what is known as the you could say the alpha, but more so the theta brainwave state, you're going to be tapping into those unhealed aspects of your subconscious mind, and as a result, your body's going to do it anyway on its own. You won't even have to consciously process it. But the the aspect of it is you must express in order to transcend, and shadow work allows you to express the darker and more hidden aspects of your personality, and as a result of expressing them privately, maybe, or through introspection, meditation, or whatever you want to call it, you free yourself from that trauma because it gives you the wisdom that it was looking to teach you anyway.
That sounds really powerful. And it's like what you're doing then is you're trusting your intuition to then work for you, because
Yeah.
that's a big thing in trauma survivors is, we just lose trust in ourselves, and the world around us and other people. So you're right. I think just sitting in stillness, even if it's for a few minutes a day, and progress your time that you can do that. Just
Mm,
start small. So
yeah,
I think that's fantastic
absolutely.
advice. Yeah. And I just love the fact you're so knowledgeable in so many different areas, like the neurological pathways. I'd like to talk about the three brains next. So we've got the reptilian, the limbic, and the neocortex parts of the brain. So I know that they influence the way that you approach personal training and wellness. Can you describe a bit more about that?
So, in reference, so I'll go into the framework, the actual understanding of them. Okay, so we've got three brains. The reptilian brain is what we call the fight or flight aspect of our mind. So that's the initial prompt, okay, where we either act instantly, and this is an autonomous process, a subconscious process, or maybe we run away or we freeze. That's the reptilian brain. It could be that you overreact and you just react in the moment through anger or jealousy or sadness or whatever it may be. And then from there, we've got the limbic system. Now, these work in connection that cause that sort of instant response. But the limbic system is where those emotions are cultivated. They send the signal to the reptilian brain to basically fire it off. Now, above that, we've got the neocortex, and the neocortex is what we call our rational mind. Now, when it comes to traumatic situations or things that trigger us, when we take a little breath and just slow down for 1 second, it gives gives the neocortex time to get involved, and it overrides the limbic and the reptilian brains, and as a result allows you to respond instead of reacting, and then you've got emotional control. So when it comes to the the process of this, it's quite simple. Take a little breath, take time to understand the facts of the situation, and allow yourself to feel the emotion, but don't act on the emotion. Act on the reality of the situation. That's the to how to cultivate the three brains in a nutshell. In terms of fitness, I would say the three brains, it's perseverance. You
Yeah.
know, I've
Okay.
had so many clients. Like one thing I specialize in is strength development in terms of physical strength. And what I find a lot of the times with clients is they'll be scared to get under the barbell, or they'll doubt themselves and go, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But they've never tried.
Mm.
And it's up to myself and to basically remind them that it is possible, but it's, and even if it isn't possible, it's still okay to try because they're safe. They're in an environment where they're supported by myself. And in just giving them that time and just reminding them, it allows that neocortex to get involved, and basically next minute you get a PB, and everything's happy, high fives and all this sorts of stuff. So what I would say is when we give ourselves time to respond as opposed to react,
Mm.
it allows us to act with courage, and through that act of courage, that's what gives us power. That allows us to express the repressed fear or anger that we previously um, felt in the initial moment. It's about not only it's not just about getting under the barbell or the weights cable or whatever you want to call it and going for the best. It's more so about doing what you feel is just above your capabilities and realizing that you're stronger than you actually are, and realizing that you are more able than you actually are in all aspects, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. There's so much power in believing in yourself. And you're right. I mean, even when it comes to lifting heavy weights, that takes a lot of mental strength to even have the confidence to lift those heavy weights because you're right. It's all to do with psychology, and we don't even I think when you're at the gym, you don't really associate psychology with being at the gym, do you? You just think, oh, that this is something that I've got to do because it's obviously going to improve my health. But I know that you mentioned a lot about life force as well. So can you,
Oh yeah.
yeah, can you explain how the right diet and fitness routine can actually boost someone's life force?
Okay, so this is quite an occult topic, but uh, don't be worrying. It's not on dark or evil. It's what we would describe as mystical terms. So basically, we've got this is how can I say this without sounding too crazy? So I don't want people to go,
Crazy is good.
he's around the bend, you know. So we've got primary energies, okay? The body is created with three primary energies, and these are the soul, which is our consciousness, our awareness of the spirit, which is our physical elements, okay? Our physical creation, the organs, the mind, things like this, yeah?
Yeah.
The soul of the senses. When it comes to the actual functioning of this fusion, we've got what is known as the vital life force. You can call it like God's breath, whatever you want to call it. I just call it the piece of God within us, yeah, the God within. Now, with regards to this, to fuel that vital life force, well, actually, I'm messing the things up here. The vital life force, as a lot of people may describe it, is what we describe as prana, vital
Prana.
life force energy.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
prana.
Now,
Yeah.
this obviously comes in the form of food and it comes in the form of oxygen. Okay, it comes through these two faculties, and what these do is these go into the body, and the prana goes then into the blood and into the cells within the body, and
Mm,
from this is what causes um, the secondary energies to come into effect, which are the autonomic nervous system and the central nervous system. Now, the autonomic nervous system is what governs the subconscious processes within the body, i.e., digestion, breathing, two things we just mentioned, but also your moods and things like this. Now, in terms of the hormonal glands, what a lot of people don't realize is these are associated with what are known as psychic centers, and these basically govern our emotions. Okay, so there's a do your viewers know about chakras?
chakras. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So the root chakra is based on fear
Yeah.
and survival. The 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 sacral chakra is based on pleasure and deals with shame, guilt. Sorry, and the I call it the manipura, but the solar plexus chakra deals with shame. Sorry, and the sacral deals with guilt, and then we've got the heart chakra, which deals with grief, and what is it now? The heart chakra deals with grief, and it's purified through truth, non willpower. And the throat chakra deals with um, lies and truth, speech. And then you've got the third eye, which is like psychic awareness, intuition, things like this. And you've got the crown one, which is above it, which is a whole nother story. But with regards to these chakras, these are the hormonal glands that consist of the secondary energies. Now, when we consume bad food or we're smoking, for instance, or we're in a polluted environment, oftentimes, this can harm the cells within our body because there's a lack of prana, there's a lack of vital life force within the system. So as a result, what is known as your electromagnetic field becomes weakened, and the pathogens, the bacteria, the traumas start going into the body, and that's when illness supersedes wellness. Now, there's a guy, his name's Professor Arnold Ehret, and he mentions what is known as the mucusless diet, and it's a great book, by the way, if anyone wants to read it. And he talks about the what is it, the health formula, the formula of vitality, formula of vitality. And there's vitality equals, what is it? Vitality equals power less obstruction. So, what is power? Power is the functioning of the body, how strong our body is. The obstruction comes from the poisons we're putting into it through our nutrition and also our um, oxygen or our lack of breathing. It might be, as you probably will know, anxiety. It's short breath. It's a lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
Now, when we fuel our body with the right nutrients, it works through the autonomic nervous system,
Mm.
which then cultivates what are known as happy hormones, and then we feel a great state of connection with ourselves, our true purpose, and not only our true purpose, but our self-image is heightened. We're raised up. We can act on these situations that were previously causing us trauma or stress or fear or anger with supreme surety and sovereignty in ourselves, and through this it's a healthier cycle, but this comes from healthy practices, and the ones that I would recommend are breath work. I would definitely recommend breath work at least, and there are different meridians in the body. Just on a tangent here, the different points that you can press within the body that can cure fevers and things like this. I won't go into that today, but it's real stuff. Like it's deep stuff. So yeah, breath work is a big one. I'll definitely recommend that. I'll look into meditation. I'll look into strength work, and I would also look into obviously eating clean organic foods. If you can't get foods from, if you're worried about the processing that's going on within foods and things like this, I would maybe look at finding a local farmer or anything like that.
Okay.
I know your audience are in the States, so I know it's a much bigger country, so that might not be feasible, but there'd be plenty of sites on the internet where you can get clean organic foods,
Yeah.
which are mega important. Whole foods, foods that haven't been through any process and don't really require any packaging. Um, an old mentor of me, man said once, food that's had a mother. So yeah, take from that what you will.
Okay.
Now, with regards to this, when we cultivate these practices of eating healthy, of implementing things like breath work and meditation and other forms of self care, what happens is through purifying our body, we increase its power. So no matter what obstruction was in there, I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? So this is our power, yeah.
Yeah.
When we have um, bad food, this power depletes, and eventually the obstruction supersedes it, and that's when we get sick. When we increase our power, sickness becomes easy to evade, and it's due to the practices you're following because you're purifying the cells in your body through the nutrition and practices that you've got. Um, but yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, no, fantastic. That's so important. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, I just think that that's a really great way of describing, how we get ill. It's when we give too much power to the bad foods and
Mm,
like being lethargic and not actually exercising,
yeah,
then you're right, that's why we get ill. And I guess that's linked to kind of the anxiety and stress levels as well that we have, because if we're not breathing enough and if we're not looking after ourselves and we're then letting external factors affect us, then again, that causes illness as well.
yeah.
um, but I'd like to kind of just ask your takes on maintaining strength and vitality through strength training and cardiovascular training, because I know there's been so many debates about, how much cardiovascular activity we should be doing, and a lot of what we were taught like growing up is actually wrong. And but what's your own views on that?
On getting in shape, do you mean like body recomposition or like muscle building or fat loss?
Yeah, like the like let's just say you're trying to plan the week ahead, like what you're going to train for the week ahead, like how much cardiovascular should they be integrating into their training as opposed to strength training?
So it would be more so tied to the individual's goals. If it was for muscle building, the main focus is to use what you've got, use what works, and stick to that. So, what I think, for instance, if we have a glass of juice, for instance, if we put too much water in that, it mightn't taste as nice. But if
Yeah.
there's not enough water in there, it'll be bitter, you know. So I think with regards to this, it's it's about finding the right balance for your goals in terms of getting yourself in a little bit leaner, and you just want to retain your body, improve your body composition without focusing primarily on muscle gain or fat loss. I'd probably I've always found that 2 to 3, 3 to 4 strength sessions a week and 2 to 3 cardio sessions a week can be sufficient. And this is just a general term. Um, in terms of actual programming, what I would definitely say when it comes to fat loss, strength training is your primary focus. That should be absolutely your goal. That
Yeah.
is what helps retain muscle. And it's not only that, but it helps promote the increase in the metabolic processes and as a result, achieving more fat loss. So the main pillars, if it was for fat loss, you want to be focusing on strength training regular.
Yeah.
That should be an absolute given. And you want to be looking at your food as fuel.
Mm.
If you refer back to some of the stuff that I was talking about then, which was obviously a little bit complex,
Mm.
you see your food as fuel and you think with your every single bite and every food choice, this is purifying the cells in my body. If you're strength training alongside this and you know the metrics are in the right balance for what your body needs in terms of calories, carbs, proteins, fats, and micronutrients, then you will see great results regardless of what it is. When it comes to the principles of strength training, I would definitely say you want to be seeking to get stronger.
Mm.
On a
Yeah.
general level, I'd say between 8 to 12 reps and 90 to 2 minute rest period between. Um, and alongside that, if you're seeing your food as fuel and you're hitting your metrics right, I think you'd be totally fine.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Would you like to address any common misconceptions about fitness and health?
Common misconceptions. So if you're new to the gym or you've never been and you want to start in January and you aren't really sure where to start or anything like this, or you've heard X, Y, and Z works, forget all of that. Don't be worrying about what other people are doing or what the internet says or anything like this. Just go in there and get on the machines. Go in there and have some fun. Go in there and focus on yourself.
Yeah.
The reason why you want to go to the gym is because there's something inside you either you're unhappy with or something that you are happy with that you want more of. So in that respect, treat the gym and see it as a form of loving yourself and looking after yourself. The same way you would look after your car or keeping your house clean, things like this. You're keeping your actual house clean, your temple, you know. Now, with regards to common misconceptions, all over the internet, all over the internet, someone has a method that is the only way that works, that is the best way that works, that every other way becomes obsolete due to it. This is all BS,
Yeah.
right? When it comes to health and fitness, our bodies are mostly the same as they were back in prehistoric days. Now, with regards to this means that we've got principles, we've got methods. Now, the principles, they are static, they stay where they are, they will never be changeable. Because, or, well, they are changeable, but they are there for a reason. They're there because they work. They've been there, they've stood the test of time, and they're evergreen.
Mm.
On the other hand, we've got methods, and these methods, these require principles in order to be effective. So instead of focusing on this next new thing and that next new thing, all you really need to understand is the method isn't intermittent fasting, or the right way isn't intermittent fasting, or bodybuilding style training,
Yeah.
or kettlebell training, or bodyweight circuits at home, or Peloton, or anything like that. It's not even martial arts or boxing or marathon running. It's none of these things. What it is get outside or lift something heavy, move more, eat less, or eat to whatever your requirements need, and sleep well. If you're eating well, you're training often, and you sleep well, you will get in shape. There's no escaping that. If you do that and you try not to get in shape, but you have to follow those things, you will still get in shape. Yeah, that's because these are principles. Now, the beauty of this is when you know the principles, you know what works for everyone, including yourself.
Yeah.
But in order to find what works for you in terms of enjoyment, then you can try the other little things. and you can go, you know what, I like doing that.
Yeah.
I like doing this. And then you're utilizing novelty under the principles to get in your best shape. But the issue with this is a lot of people see the method as the principle, but it's not. What
Yeah.
that is the method is a way of observing the principle,
Mm,
and you don't depend on that method alone.
yeah.
You can use any method to get in shape, any single one, and it's the one you most enjoy, the one that you can most sustain, and the one that observes the most principles is what will get you the best results. So what I would say in summary of what I'm speaking on here is go in the gym and just enjoy yourself. Prioritize you. It's your time for you. And if you're going to do any research, don't be fooled by all the marketing. Focus on the science. Focus on the science. Focus on the principles. And you'll know a good coach when he mentions principles that work. He'll prioritize. He'll let you know these principles work. Caloric surplus for muscle gain. Caloric deficit for fat loss. Regular strength training for um, strength development. 8 to 12 rep range for myofibril hypertrophy, all these different things. Now, when you address, when you do that, that's when you see the results. But yeah, I feel like I'm waffling. Sorry.
No, it's good. Yeah. No, because as you were talking, I was thinking all these fad diets that, we've been taught growing up, like the Atkins, Slim Fast, Weight Watchers, and
Yeah,
God, you just think that they're just temporary fixes, aren't they?
yeah. Well, they can be, but what happens is a lot of people end up depending on them.
Yeah,
You know,
they do.
they
They do.
depend.
It's true. Yeah, and I always believe like if anything, the Weight Watchers and Slim Fast is probably good, like because you make friends, don't you? And it becomes a bit of a
Mhm.
community thing. And
Exactly.
yeah, and so yeah, rather than the actual, diet which they teach
Mhm.
you, if yeah, why not just join for the community?
Yeah, literally, literally.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So tell us a bit more about what you do, Matthew.
So I'm working as an online coach. I train mostly business owners or people who work in a corporate setting. With regards to this, we focus on functional strength training. Now, again, these are principle based training uh, processes and principles
Yeah.
that allow people to not only build muscle and get in better shape, whether it be build muscle, fat loss, or general aesthetic, but we also work on the ability to move and the longevity and strength and range of motion of your joints too. Alongside this, I do a lot of mental health support. So I do things like one-to-one coaching and like speech therapy and things like this to really inspire people to be the best version and to stimulate high performance and an improved self-image and unlocked potential with regards to that. On my page, Winners Only Fitness, you'll see a number of free guides. I give away guides. I write books on health and fitness, and I'm planning on doing some for mindsets as well as for kids. But they're not really ready yet. That's just still in the process. But yeah, that's it really. That's my main focus with regards to
Oh,
health.
fantastic. Wow, you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. You're writing books as well. Fantastic. I
Yeah.
was actually thinking that. I was thinking, wow, you've got a lot of knowledge to be writing books. So yeah, I think you're doing the right thing. And so how can everyone find you and work with you?
Okay, so anyone who's watching, I've got a book for you based on the principles of health and fitness. These are ones that I've generated over the last 14 years.
Nice.
This is on my website. It's called the 38 Laws of Strength and Power. This is going to teach you everything you need to know about health and fitness so you can look past all the methods and go straight to the principles and never have to worry a day in your life when it comes to the gym. This is called www.winnersonlyfitness, WINNERSONLYFITNESS.com /laws, LAWS, and basically you'll get that book there. It's free access, and you'll get access to the 38 principles. If you want to catch me on Instagram, TikTok, or Threads or YouTube, just type in Winners Only Fitness. So at Winners Only Fitness. And me obviously my website's called winnersonlyfitness.com as well.
Perfect. Wow, thank you so much. And yeah, listeners, please do get in touch with Matthew. As you can all see, he's just full of wisdom. And I feel like you have all the answers, if anyone's got a question. So yeah, if anyone does have a question, then please do drop it in this podcast episode or drop it to Matthew directly. I'm sure he'd be honored to hear from you all. Thank you, Matthew. It's been great. I've loved it. And I've learned a lot as well from you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. That's all we have time for today, my beautiful people. We hope you enjoyed the show and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Stay blessed, my friends.